Multiple choice part one. Okay, number one, which of the following are the characteristics of the Hong Kong economy are correct? Number one, Hong Kong's government cannot intervene in the market. Okay, like this word quite a little bit seeming easy to students, but it's actually wrong because the Hong Kong government actually intervene in the market, just like hospital service, housing authority, education, something like that. All these kinds of services, social services, are responsible by the Hong Kong government. Okay, that means the Hong Kong government has intervened in the market. That means all such kind of social services are not subject to uh, market forces. That means all such price, equilibrium price are not simply determined by the supply and demand. Otherwise, people living in a public housing estate have to pay a lot of money, a lot of rent in order to live in such a large space in an apartment in the public housing estate. All right. Okay. So this one is wrong. Number two, simple taxation system is correct. Okay, in Hong Kong, because of the simple taxation structure, many companies all around the world would like to invest in Hong Kong. Number three, high quality of manpower. Okay, it used to be a reason to explain why Hong Kong economy is gradually developing well all around the centuries. So the answer is two and three. Okay, next question. Which of the following statements about authority and responsibility is incorrect? Okay, when answering this question, you should circle it incorrect. Okay, number one, top managers should possess more authority than frontline managers. It is very correct. Okay, it's correct because the top managers have to be responsible for a lot of duties, and should have a lot of burden in order to achieve their goals. So they should have more authority than the frontline managers. B, frontline managers are responsible to deal with the operational matters. Is correct as well. Because the managers, just like McDonald in Shanghai Estate, the supervisors or the managers have to make sure the operation in that shop is running well with the help of the other staff or their subordinates. So number C, subordinates are not required to bear job opportunities as responsibilities. It is wrong because everybody have to bear job responsibilities, including the managers and subordinates. Because subordinates are required to do such kind of jobs, which needs coordination and communication with the other subordinates. So job responsibilities should be clearly defined for those subordinates. Uh, such responsibilities are assigned by the managers in their shop or in their branch. So the answer for C is wrong. Okay, for D is correct. Authority can be transferred. The keyword here is transfer from a supervisor to the subordinates. It's correct because such like the discipline master, the authority of the discipline master is assigned by his superior here in a school is the headmaster. So this one is correct. Next, in life cycle planning, financial planning, which stage has the major financial need of ensuring earning ability? Earning ability means making money for the family. The answer is B. Because when the family members just married, the husband or the wife have to make sure the earning ability of each member is able to meet the needs of the family. So if there is some misfortune on each family member, just like the husband, the wife or the children will be getting in trouble. So part, answer A, B is correct. But for a young single, so the main aim of this financial need, okay, of the young single is trying to accumulate wealth to make sure that they have to save enough money for the future use, just like um, saving for the uh, building up their businesses, their firms in the future. So they have to accumulate wealth. And how about C? The keyword here is older children, okay? Because the older children are able to earn a living on their own. So those married family members need not take care of their older children. So the earning ability is not that must. Okay, for retirement, of course, it's not true because those retired persons did not concern any earning ability in their retirement age. Okay, next question. Which of the following accounts are not shown in the SFP, Statement of Financial Position? So in SFP, we know that we should have assets, capital, and liabilities. First one, A, accounts receivable is the current asset, is correct. Closing inventory is the current asset. Bank overdraft is the liability, while carriage interest belong to the items in the income statement. So the answer is D, not shown. Next question. Which refers to the entering the transactions into the accounts. Of course, it is entering transaction. That means it's a kind of recording. 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 Okay, recording. So the answer is A, either A or C. Okay, recording. While what refers to calculating the monthly total in each account. Something like balancing off the equation. Okay, balancing off the debit total and credit total. So the answer is C. All right. This question is concerning about the double entry. Okay, look at the question. Which of the following transactions will affect the total amount of access? Okay, amount of access of a business. Okay, A, number one, goods returned to suppliers for cash refund. Okay, the keywords here is cash refund. That is cash. Another one is return. Either you should know is whether it's a return hours or return inwards. Look at this. Returns hours means returns the goods to a supplier. So it should be returns hours. Cash, that means the cash increase. So the answer is we should debit cash and credit returns hours. Okay, so we should be aware of the answer. And by this, you can check if each of the entries affect the access total or not. So when we debit cash, that means the asset increase, right? Debit cash, that means the asset increase. While returns hours has been doing nothing with the asset. So here the asset increase, right? Because of the cash increase. So the answer is correct for 1. Okay, number 2, discount allowed. Here, the keywords here is discount allowed, offered to customers for prompt payment. Okay, this is the reason why we offered discount allowed to the customers because the customers have paid earlier, okay, than the deadline, before the deadline. So discount allowed. Okay, now you should know the double entries for this kind of transaction. First of all, about the total, the trade receivables, because the customers paid, but in less amount, so the trade receivables will reduce. Say I give you the examples. Say for example, 100,000. And by the way, the customer can enjoy the discount allowed, which is a kind of expense. So expense has the rule plus minus. So we should debit discount allowed. Okay, say for example, $1,000. All right. And another way, you know that we will receive a check from the customers. So we debit bank account to show the increase in the amount of the bank balance. But the amount is less than this amount. All right. So this is a key point here. This is the asset. Total receivable is the asset. This kind of asset reduced by, say for example, $100,000, while the bank account is a kind of asset as well, increased by a lesser amount here, lesser amount. So the overall effect is the asset will reduce. Asset will reduce. Okay, asset will reduce. But the question asks you only how affected. Okay, how affected. So whether the answer is increase or decrease is correct. So it's correct as well. Okay, number 3, business electricity bills paid by the owner. Okay, here we have two accounts. One is electricity account, and the other one is owner. Of course, we do not have owner's account, okay? But if the bills are paid by the owner, the capital account is involved. So we'll debit the electricity because electricity is kind of expense again. So we have the plus minus rule. So we debit electricity while the credit will credit the capital account. But all those entries do nothing with the amount of access. All right, do nothing with the amount of access. So number 3 is wrong because number 3 did not affect any amount of the access. So the answer is 1 and 2A. Okay, this question, which of the following is an example of public corporation? Public corporation. You should be aware of the rule that we have public enterprise. Public enterprise means the firms owned by the government, under which we have 2 types. One is called government department, which are solely funded by the government. All the losses are borne by the taxpayers, while another one is called public corporation. Corporation, which is run on a commercial basis and it is self-financed. That means when the government once have invested the certain amount of money into the public corporation, say for example the hospital authority, airport authority, and right here is the Hong Kong examination of assessment and authority, Ocean Park. All those are common examples of public corporation. So all those public corporations are required to finance themselves after a period of time. So the losses are borne by those firms, those public corporations, because examination authority and examination and assessment authority require our candidates to pay the examination fee to the authority to ensure enough finance for the authority. While those audit commission, consensus and statistics department, Hong Kong observatory are those who need to spend money only. Okay, they are cost center. That means all those firms only spend money without the ability to make money. Okay, next one. David operates a Japanese food trading company in Bangkok. Since Korean foods are so popular nowadays, he plans to change the business objectives to also sell Korean foods. Okay, that means David has been changing the plan from Japanese food to Korean food. So it's a kind of directional plan, the change of direction from Japanese to Korean food. And next one is a kind of long-term plan. Of course, David should not change his mind so early that once he changed the operation from Japanese food trading to Korean food trading in only 1 or 2 months, and then the 3 months later he changed back his mind back to trade Japanese food. Is not a good way, okay, for David to do it. So these are 2 kinds of very important plans for David to change from Japanese trading to Korean trading. But operational plan is not correct. Operational plan is simply like the detail of the plans, the timetable, or setup of the business, okay, or daily operation. Daily operation for the business instead of just a change in direction, change in the period of the change of the idea. So number 1 is incorrect. So the answer is C. Next, about financial markets are correct. Now, number 1, the capital market is tangible market, while money market is intangible market. They are talking about tangible and intangible. Okay, tangible and intangible refers to those which are physical, that means which can be touched and seen. Just like a marketplace in Shenton Estate. You walk in the market and you can see a lot of stores around, right? All of those food stores are regarded as tangible markets. While intangible market are those markets which cannot be seen, just like the financial market. You can hardly see a place where the trading of stocks are carried out there. You just make use of your mobile or through the computer to insert your command to the bank to sell or buy any shares in a financial market. So capital market is still a intangible market because we need not go to a place where the stocks are trading and trading is enough for you to go to there, right? Next one, the stock exchange is for trading shares on the trading floor, while the over-the-counter market is for trading shares through an electronic system. It's correct. Okay, because some years ago, we actually had a stock exchange where the trading of shares need to be taken place on the trading floor. But of course, nowadays we not do such kind of trading on the trading floor. But in the past, it's correct. Okay, number three, the primary market is for issuing new shares, while the secondary market is only for trading existing shares. Existing shares are also called secondary shares. That means the shares already in the hands of the investors. Okay, it's correct. Because the primary market refers to, say, for example, the Budweiser company, the company selling beers, raise the capital by issuing new shares to those investors. So the first issue in the primary market is called newly issued shares. Once the investors got those newly issued shares, when they need liquidity, that means they need money. The investors may sell their shares in the secondary market by means of trading the shares with another kind of investors, all right, existing shares to another investors. So this is correct. So the answer is C. Okay, which of the following features about non-current assets are correct? NCA, non-current assets, refer to the asset which can be used for more than 1 year. Okay, it's correct. Number one. And of course, it should not have high liquidity. It should not have high liquidity because for those non-current assets, such as motor vehicles, such as premises, such as furniture, machinery, all those kinds of non-current assets are not required to sell for cash. Sell for liquidity of the firm. Liquidity means the ability to turn into cash readily or in a short period of time. So all those assets mentioned should be used in operation instead of just selling for cash. So they should not have high liquidity. And number three is one of the characteristics is to generate economic benefits to the business. That economic benefits, that means to make money. So without the motor vehicles, without the machinery or premises, the business cannot make money. Okay, just by means of current assets, but non-current assets is so important. So the answer is 2 and 3. Next one, performance appraisal report is the topic in management function. POLC is a kind of the controlling process. In order to have an efficient and effective controlling process, the manager or the company should have a performance appraisal report. This kind of appraisal report is like the top manager should assess the ability of the subordinates to see if the subordinates are capable enough to accomplish their task. So it's number one is wrong. It's not a kind of upward communication because it starts from superiors down below to the subordinates, SUB subordinates, right? So it's a kind of a downward communication instead of upward communication. Number one is wrong. Another one is formal communication is correct. Okay, of course, this kind of communication is formal, so formal that the pay rise next year is based on such kind of appraisal reports. Number three, one-way communication is one way, of course, not like our school. Okay, our school have two ways. Okay, one is our students may be able to assess the performance of the teachers effectiveness, teachers teaching effectiveness. All right, so this is kind of a two ways communication, but here is a kind of one way. Only superiors assess the subordinates. So the answer is 2 and 3. Next, about the outcomes regarding the unethical behavior of a business. Okay, this is a kind of business ethics. Okay, the topic on business ethics. So of course, if the business does its performance, business performance in an unethical manner, so it will damage their reputation because reputation is so important for business to make money, will make long-term income, long-term profits. So this is correct. Next one, loss of customers. Of course, customers are kings to the business. Without customers or when the customers boycott the business will go to die. Okay, breach of laws. This may not violate the laws. Breach of laws means violation of the laws. Okay, so when we are talking about an unethical manner, does not mean that the business is violating the laws. So there are two different kinds of levels when considering the business success or not. So this is wrong. Number 3 is wrong. So the answer is A. Next, a good business plan is important to the business as this kind of plan, just like POLC here. Okay, planning is so important for the business. All those answers are correct because it forecasts the potential business risk. Potential, that means not yet happened. So when the managers are making their business plans, they are just sitting in such a peaceful office to see and to check and to investigate the potential business risk in the future. So the business should try to focus and to see to make it out the solutions for those kinds of risk. Number 2, makes it easier to obtain funds from the third parties. Of course, it's correct. When a firm needs money from the bank or from other financial institutions, the banks or the financial institutions should know more about the business, how the business is planning and the development of the business in the future. So if the business wants money from them, they would need to present their plan to the banks or to the financial institution. Number 3, identifies the target market and products to be sold. I've told that if the manager can sit properly and to think thoroughly about how the business is going in the future, so the business can identify its market to see which kind of market is good for the business, or what kind of products should be produced or should be bought for resale to the customers. So the answer is 1, 2, 3. Many restaurants increase their food price to cover substantially high rental expenses. Okay, do you remember the PESTLE? PESTLE. Okay, about the factors affecting business decisions. P stands for political factors, E for economic factors, S for social factors, T for technological factors. L stands for legal factors, while another E for environmental factors, or what we call physical factors. All right. Okay. All those factors, when we are talking about the rental expenses, it's very simple for all candidates because it's concerning about the economic factors. Okay. Once we are talking about the social factors, we are talking about the preference or taste of the customers, or when we are talking about the labor, about social factors, we are talking about if the labor force is willing to work hard, willing to spend the time to study for further technology skills, something like that. Technology factors, something like about 5G, 6G, something like that. Okay, political, about the stability of the factors which affect the decisions of the firm to stay here or not. just like Maxim. Okay, Maxim has been destroyed a lot, and Maxim may be thinking of moving their restaurants away from Hong Kong. Okay, this is the kind of political factors affecting Maxim's decisions to stay in Hong Kong or not. Oh, next question about the roles of SFC, Securities and Futures Commission. Okay, it's a government bodies. Okay, a government bodies solely funded by the government. Number one, manage the exchange fund is wrong. Okay, the management is managed by the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. Hong Kong Monetary Authority instead of SFC. This kind of commission, something like the police. Okay, to make sure that the securities and futures are running properly. All right. So next one, authorized investment product is correct. Okay. To make sure the investment products are subject to the rules set by the SFC. Next one, issue guidance for financial intermediaries. Okay, it's just like the government bodies to issue guidelines for those intermediaries. That means middlemen. Okay, for the middlemen, just like the brokers who are able to sell their stocks or help the investors to sell their stocks. Okay, so now the answer is 2 and 3. Next, about cash discount. Okay, cash discount can be can have two categories. One is discount allowed, another one is discount received. Okay, they are recorded in double entry T accounts. We have debit and credit entries. The rule is plus minus and minus plus. Okay, look at this. They are used to attract customer to make bulk purchase. It is wrong. Okay, they are used to attract customers to make prompt payment. P-R-O-M-P-T. Prompt payment. Prompt payment means early payment. Okay, to encourage the customers to pay earlier in order to obtain these discounts. For bulk purchase, it's related to trade discount. Trade discount. So number one is wrong. Okay, A is wrong. They should be entered in the accounting records is correct. I've told you that they are recorded in T accounts. Okay, this is correct. Oh, why C wrong? Because discount received must have a debit balance. Wrong, because I've told you that minus plus. So should have a credit balance instead. Okay, this one again wrong. Discount allowed as an income. Wrong. This account is a kind of expense. Okay, this one. Which of the following business functions is applied if the manager predicts the operating cash flows for the coming 6 months? Very simple. Operating cash flows is about financial, okay? About money. Financial means money. So the answer is C. Okay, we don't have this question anymore, okay? Next one. On the 1st of March 2013, Lucky Company rented an office premises for 3 years, starting from the 1st of April 2013. The rental deposits were paid by the check, which equaled 3 months of rent. Each month of the rental expense was paid 1 month in advance. What does it mean by 1 month in advance? Say, for example, for the rent in March, okay, in March, the rent should be paid in February. Okay, this is what we call 1 month in advance. Okay, look at this. Before we answered it and calculate the correct amount for the rental expenses, we come to this question: which accounting concept or principle apply? Look at this: apply are not violated. Okay, when calculating the rental expense, it's very simple. It's a kind of accrual concept, CC back accrual concept, because we are not concerning about the cash paid. We are concerning about the expenses incurred. Incurred, that means what should be paid during the accounting period. What should be paid during accounting period. So when we are talking about this for the year ended 30th of June, okay. So we first of all look at we have 3 days. One is 1st of March, second 1st of April. All right. So we should see if which one starts first. rent the office equipment starting from, that means it starts from the 1st of April. But why we are talking about the 1st of March? Because we are talking about 1 month in advance. So for the date start from the 1st of April, the rent should be paid in March. But we are not talking about this month's rental expense. We are talking about from May to June. All right. That means there is a total of April, May, and June. Only 3 months. So now we have the job to calculate the monthly rent, right? Monthly rent. Look at this. The rental deposit will pay this amount, equal to 3 months rent. That means each month equals to $48,000 divided by 3, comes up with $16,000 per month. So when we are talking about 3 months rent for the accounting period, that means the answer is A, $48,000. 3 times 16,000, right? Okay, this question, a business with a quick ratio lower than the industry average may mean that. Okay, now look at this. Quick ratio has the formula of current assets minus closing inventory divided by divided by current liabilities. I repeat, it should be current assets minus closing stock or closing inventory divided by current liabilities. It measures about the liquidity, okay, of the firm. Liquidity means ability of the firm to meet short-term debts. So we are not talking about the profitability of the business, because profitability of the business can be measured by profit ratio, okay, either the gross profit ratio or net profit ratio or the return on capital employed, right? Not about quick ratio or current ratio. Okay, number 1 is wrong. Number 2, too much inventory was held by the business. Right. That means if we have a lot of current assets for the business, while the business held a lot of closing inventory, which has a very, very low liquidity. So the net value of this amount, current assets minus current stock, is very low. So low that it's lower than the industry average. So it's correct. What we call tied up. Okay, tied. T-I-E-D, tied. All right, the business face difficulty when we paying short-term debt. The keyword here is short-term debts. Okay, when we are talking about debts, we should classify into short-term debts or long-term debts. Okay, this is very important for business if it wants to survive or not. So number 1 is, this answer is 2 and 3. Next question. Arrange the following financial products according to their risk in ascending order. Ascending means risk from low to high. Okay, ascending. Okay, here options has a very high risk because it becomes worthless by the end of the day or certain date. So options are very dangerous. We're not talking about dangerous, but we are talking about risky for the investors. If the investors fails to sell the options before the deadline, this kind of a certificate will become worthless paper, rubbish, right? Okay, so it's very risky. So the answer either here or there, A or B. Okay, while we are talking about bonds, usually bonds are less risky than common stock. Common stock means shares. Okay, so bonds is less risky because the bond price fluctuates less than the common stocks. Okay, so the answer is A. Oh, next one about respective books of original entry. We have 7 books. You remember sales day book, purchases day book, returns invoice day book, returns hours day book, petty cash book, cash book, and general journal. You remember? Okay, so look at this. Purchases journal. Now remember, this kind of purchases is only related to credit purchases. Credit purchases. Cash purchases are recorded in cash book. So this answer is wrong. Cash purchases wrong. Okay, only credit purchases. For general record all those kind of transactions which has nothing to concern in all those 6 journals. So this one, drawings are not about trading of goods, right? And not about cash. So this is correct because not about cash, not about trading of goods. So it's correct. Sales returns, that means returns inverse. RI, returns inverse journal, that means record goods returned by customers is correct. So the answer is 2 and 3. Okay, out of syllabus. This one. What is the advantage of choosing to set up partnership when compared to a sole proprietorship? All right. Sole proprietorship and partnership are similar to each other in the lower tax rate. So this is not the correct answer because they have the same profit tax rate of 15%. So it's not correct. Enjoy limited liability, of course not. Both partnership and sole proprietorship have unlimited liability. Unlimited liability. Okay, that means the owners of a sole proprietorship or partnership have to sell his or their belongings to cover all the losses of the business. Legal status wrong as well because if C is correct, then B is correct as well. If the business has legal entity, legal status, that means the business has limited liability. All right, so the answer is D. Of course, partner, we have 2 to infinite number of partners. So all partners can enjoy the sharing of business risk among those partners. Next one is out of syllabus, okay? The following were the account balances of the company. Like the keywords here is account balances. If we have the word extract, that means only a part of the accounts. That means we cannot make use of those accounts as in this way. If the all the accounts were shown here, we can make use of those accounts to prepare the trial balance. The trial balance, all right? So if we want to calculate the accounts receivable here, we can make use of a trial balance method by means of here. This part is the debit side because debit items are more than credit items, okay? So we put it here. So if the bank here correct, okay, debit entries usually if it's a plus sign, we have debit entries for the bank account. So accounts payable wrong, put it here. Sundry expenses means debit, correct. Returns inverse is opposite to sales. Sales here should be on the credit side. So returns inverse on the debit side, correct. Purchases, debit, correct. Carriage hours, a kind of cost, correct. Cost, something like expense. So we have debit entries. Interest income has a similar nature to sales. So we should have credit entry here, okay? Accounts receivable is a kind of asset right here. Inventory, asset here. Discount received, income on the right. Office equipment asset here. Returns hours, opposite to purchases. That means it should be here. Bank loan liabilities here. Capital credit here. So we have a total of the debit entry. We add together because here. Okay, we set the equation in unknowns here. All right, and we add together the credit total. This one credit, this one credit, this one credit, this one credit, this one, and this one credit. Okay, so we add together the green totals is the credit totals is equal to the debit total. So we set the equation. We have a question mark here. In order to solve the question here, we'll get the amount of accounts receivable. Okay. Okay, this question requires you to calculate the return on capital employed. That means ROCE. We should remember the formula. Return on capital employed is equal to net profit divided by average capital. Average capital means the opening capital plus closing capital divided by 2. Okay, of course, time 100%. What I spot here in red because we do not have closing capital. We have only the opening capital. This one, 380,300. Though it's not mentioned if it is the closing or opening. For the account balances, because all those accounts, say for example, the purchases, sales, returns, hours, all the nominal accounts in income statement has not been calculated to the net profit. So this capital has not made any adjustment to the closing capital. So it should be the opening capital. Okay. We should make use of some formula to calculate this closing capital. So we make use of this formula. Closing capital is equal to opening capital plus net profit plus minus the drawings. Okay. So as well, the net profit is very difficult for us to calculate, but we make use of the income statement, but not in the vertical form, but we just use simple calculation by means of sales minus returns inverse minus cost of goods sold. Here, cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is equal to opening stock plus purchases plus carriage invoice minus returns hours minus closing stock plus other income minus expenses. All right. We just capture, extract all those figures here. Now look at this. The sales here. Okay. 362,000 here. Sales minus returns inverse. Look at this. Returns inverse here. 6,200 minus 6,200 minus cost of goods sold. Anyway, each we have open inventory. This one, open inventory, 8,300 here, plus purchases. Here, purchases. Here, 145,000. And minus, we don't have carriage units. We have carriage hours, okay? Only carriage hours. And carriage hours is a kind of expense. Remember, hours is a kind of expense. It's not carriage units, okay? So we don't have carriage units. We have returns hours. Returns hours here. Okay, 3,800 here, minus 3,100. Minus closing inventory. Closing inventory should not appear in the trial balance, or it should appear in other information. Okay, 12,100. Okay, we also include the other income. What we have other income here is interest income, 8,000 here, and discount receipt, 4,500 here. All right, we add together these two figures and minus all those expenses here. Expenses, sundry expenses, 45,300. And what's it? Let's see. Carriage hours. Forget it. Highlight carriage hours, 2,500 here. Okay. Now remember, we must not include Banong here. Okay. Banong is the liability. Depends on its a current liability or long-term liability, because the date is 2013. This day, maturity date is 2018. So it should be non-current liabilities. Okay. Not expense. Not expense. Accounts receivable, not expense, is the current asset. Remember it. This is not expense. This is current liabilities. All right. Bank, current asset. Okay. So all those figures add together, sum together, will have this net profit. Okay, this profit here, 183,100. So the opening capital again, 380,300. We put it here again. We add net profit here again. No drawing. Okay. All those figures. You may make use of the calculator to see if you can calculate it correctly. It should be C, 38.8%. So spend some time to make use of the calculator to see if you can arrive at this figure. And as well, this kind of question is very difficult. Okay, it takes a lot of time for you to calculate it. So make sure that all the business questions and financial questions have been answered before you come to this question?
This question is about the financial studies, asking you about to tell the difference between the non-revolving consumer credit and revolving consumer credit. Just like revolving credit, like this, revolving. That means like credit card. The financial institutions has been giving you the upper limit, the maximum limit that you can draw from the card. You can use with the card. When you use the amount, the balance will reduce, and if you repay the outstanding amount, the limit will be restored. It's called revolving consumer credit. While non-revolving credit is talking about just like this straight line, like a fishbone, like this, it means that once you ask for or apply for this kind of non-revolving consumer credit, just like what we call installment loan. That means the institutions has given you an amount, say for example, $100,000. The institutions will calculate based on the principal, their interest for the whole period of time, and together with the interest and the principal, and divided by the number of periods during the installment, you are required to pay a fixed amount of installment throughout the credit limit, the credit period. Credit period. You cannot change the period of installment or the amount of installment loan. All right. So this is what installment loan has the disadvantage of having no flexibility. But it has the advantage of the ability for the borrower to make sure how much he or she is able to pay in each installment. So let us turn back to this point. It is flexible repayment schedule. It is wrong because it is flexible only for the for the revolving consumer credit, like credit card or bank overdraft. That means the bank or financial institutions will not require you to pay on time, except that a very high interest rate will be charged for the outstanding amount. So it is flexible, but it has the disadvantage of having a very high interest rate charged. Next one, a credit card is example of non-revolving. Wrong here again. And the consumer can borrow money at any time. Any time is correct. That's what the advantage of the flexibility of repayment schedule in the non-revolving consumer credit. So the correct answer is only 3, but the question asks you about incorrect answer. So the answer is 1 and 2. Okay. Let's then go to another question about trial balance. Okay, trial balance, like the trial balance on the right, we have the total, the debit total and a credit total amounting to this and this. But this is only a continuous schedule. We have quite a lot of items missing. Okay, so we look at this. The total debit balances should be equal to the total credit balances. It is correct. Should be right. Only real accounts are shown in the trial balance. It is wrong because all those accounts are what we call nominal accounts. Nominal accounts means those accounts which will not have balances carry forward to the next accounting period. So every balances in these accounts, in these nominal accounts, will be close to the income profit and loss account. Okay, profit and loss account. Okay, while real accounts will be shown in the standard, statement of financial position. Okay. So in trial balance, all those accounts, including nominal and real accounts, will be shown. Number 3, the trial balance is not part of the double entry system. Double entry system means T account. We have debit here and credit here, but it is not a part. This is correct because all those debit and credit are not are doing the double entry entries. They're only the balances. Okay, balancing figure, which to be posted to this trial balance. So it is not part of the double entry system, but only a list of all the balances of those real and nominal accounts. So the answer here should be the C, 1 and 3. Okay, this question about the small and medium enterprises, SME. So do you remember those figures, 50 and 100? And two kinds of firms. One is called manufacturing firms, another one is non-manufacturing firms. Okay, for those manufacturing firms which are regarded as a SME, the number of employees should be less than 100 because for a manufacturing company, it needs more employees to produce things, right? While non-manufacturing, if it is regarded as a SME, the number of employees should be less than 50. So not features. Okay. So first of all, fewer than 100 is wrong, though it is correct. But we have another types of firms called non-manufacturing, so we cannot make use of one figure to be conclusive. All the definitions of SME. And lower profit tax rate as well is wrong. Some students may think that SME can only be sole proprietorship or partnership. But remember, for a private limited company, okay, private limited company, private, okay, the number of owners or shareholders ranges from 1 to 50. So if you want to set up a private limited company starting with you alone, only one shareholder, and the scale of the business is not big enough, you may also be regarded as a SME. So remember, as the definitions of SME are restricted to only two numbers and two types of firms instead of the different types of business ownership. So it is wrong. Most students will get it wrong here. Unable to be a multinational corporation, of course, according to the definition, 50 and 100. So it is wrong as well. So all those answers are wrong. Next one, about the advantage of a public limited companies. Okay, public means the financial information should be disclosed to the public, while the number of shareholders ranges from no limit. All right, and the shares or ownership can be traded freely in the stock market is correct. Number one is correct. Number two, can save time in making decisions is wrong, because you should bear in mind what we call board of directors. Board of directors, which requires quite lengthy meetings in order to make a decision, because the public limited companies have quite a number of shareholders, whereas the board of directors are responsible to make the decisions. The directors are responsible for the interests of all the shareholders, so they need to make wise decisions. So it takes time for them to make decisions. Number three, disclosure of financial information is optional, is wrong, okay? Not optional. It's required for them to disclose. So the answer is 2 and 3.
Okay, this question is about the time value of money. Which of the following yields the highest return? Now, first of all, we should look at the nominal interest rate. They are all the same, 12%. So we can make use of this formula. The effective rate of return is equal to 1 plus R percent divided by N. N is the frequency. That means how often the compound interest is calculated. Okay, times N. That means the number of periods involved. Say, for example, monthly means 12. Quarterly means 4. Half yearly, that means 2. Yearly means 1. So if the frequency increase, the ERR will increase. That means the compound interest will will be increased. So look at this. For the same amount of nominal interest rate, you see that monthly, okay, compounded monthly should have for highest return. Next, about C club, okay, closer economic partnership agreement. It is related to trade in goods and trade and investment facilitations. That means it facilitates the investors from Hong Kong to have investment in mainland without the charge or the imposition of tariffs or tax. But it does no matter with the exchange rates. So the answer is 1, 3.
Which of the following business functions are most involved in the decision of advertising policy? Advertising, so of course it should be the responsibility of the marketing department, while the other departments should be involved. All those departments are not discrete. They should work together to make the functions well, to fulfill the functions well. So first of all, the financial department is involved because when making an advertisement, money is very important. As well, the information department is also involved in the decision of an advertising policy because this department has to provide up-to-date information and the thorough information for the marketing department to make most valuable decisions. So the answer is 2 and 3. Okay, about this question, a little bit difficult. On the 3rd of March, June company bought 200 units of inventory from Connie company for $15 each before deducting $1 trade discount for each unit. So before we go, we should try to draft the role of June and Connie's company. We should know if June is the buyer or the seller or the supplier or customer. So first of all, you should know yes, June bought goods from Connie. So June is the buyer while Connie is the supplier. First of all, you should know about it. Okay, and the second point is about the dollar, okay, $15 and $1 trade discount. So the actual price is $14, okay, $15 minus $1, okay. This $1 is called trade discount. Here you see it, trade discount, okay. And as well, look at this. If June company settle the amount within 6 days, okay, the keyword is 6 days, it will be offered a cash discount of 10%. If Connie company settle the amount on that day, okay, so you should be aware of if Connie company can get this cash discount. So you should be aware of the date on which June company bought the inventory. So from 3rd of March to the 8th of March consists of 5 days. So it's within the 6 days of the grace period. So you can enjoy the discount, cash discount. This cash discount is called discount received because we know that June is the buyer from Connie. Connie is a supplier. So the discount enjoyed by June is called discount received. So the total amount of the inventory cost $14, actually, right? Not 15. $14 times 200 times 10% discount, discount received. So actually, 14 times 200 equals to 2,800. With 10% discount, the actual discount received is 280. So let us turn back. The cash discount is 300. It's wrong. Okay. 1 wrong. June, we paid 250,000 on the company. So let us look at it. Paid 2018 times 90% because 10% is discount received, 90% is the actual amount to be paid by June. So the answer is correct. Number 2 correct. Okay. Okay, C and D inclusive. So number 3, the amount owed to Connie company from June company was 2,800. Is correct. 2,800. Okay. Connie should record the transaction as a purchase transaction. Not only here, she's the supplier. So Actually, in the view of Connie, she is the the sales transaction instead. Okay, sales transaction, because Connie make sales of inventory to June. So this is wrong. So the answer is 2 and 3. Which of the following would not appear in the income statement? Okay, all those accounts should be the nominal accounts, no real accounts. That means all the balances of the nominal accounts will be posted to the income statement. So income carriage interest, okay, in the income statement, interest in the income statement. Now remember, bank overdraft is the liabilities. It should appear in the SFP. Okay, while bank overdraft interest is a kind of expense to be included in the income statement. Sales process from the non-current asset. Process means cash, bank, okay, or check receipt. Okay, it should be in the income, in the statement of financial position. So this is wrong. Don't be mistaken by sales process and sales. Look at this. Sales process and sales are different. Okay, sales are included in the income statement, while sales process, the keyword here is process instead of sales. All right, the keyword here is process means cash. You should be aware of it. Okay, cash discount. Cash discounts may be discount allowed or discount received, all of which are included in the income statement. So the answer is C. Okay, down below, MPF. Okay, monetary provident fund. A, both employers and employees have to contribute 5%. This may correct or this may not be correct. This is what we call mandatory. Okay, mandatory means compulsory. Okay, both of them are compulsory to pay to contribute 5%. This is correct. There is also another part called voluntary contribution. Voluntary contribution. It means employees and employers may contribute more than 5%. Okay, it depends on if it's correct or not. We will see the other answers first. No voluntary contribution is allowed without the permission of employees. Of course, not. Okay, because your part of contribution is under your control, so you can have the discretion to make voluntary contribution. Okay, this is correct. Incorrect. Okay. C. Under no circumstances can employees get money back from MPF before the age of 65. It's wrong again. Okay. The retirement age is 65, of course. But before the age of 65, there are some situations that you can get back your part. Say, for example, when you are determined to permanently leave Hong Kong, and the second, you have a very serious financial, health problem, disabled problem, or the balance in your MPF account is less than 5,100 for many years, so you are able to get back the balance in your part from your part. So this is wrong again. D. The employee is tax deductible with certain limitations on the amount. This is wrong. Okay, so the answer is A. Let's look at another part. Miss Wong retired at the age of 42 with no children. Which of the following is most suitable for her? Okay, without children, that means without burden, and 72, very old. So she would like it's possible to have a more secure investment. Blue chips no good because blue chips are those famous shares in the stock market. Though they are famous, the price fluctuation may not be able to predict. So Ms. Wong may suffer losses when she needs money. Okay, corporate bonds and government bonds. Of course, government bonds are more secure than corporate bonds. Corporate bonds means company bonds. Okay, of course, our government has a lot of money, so when the Hong Kong government issue the bonds or the U.S. government issue their bonds, it is more secure. Okay, for the investors because the repayment ability of the government must be higher than the companies. But because Ms. Wong may not need, I mean, appreciation of her capital, or principal. Okay, so she may not need to invest in government bonds, because even so, government bonds may have a little bit price fluctuation. So when she is in need of money, she may suffer loss when the government bonds are sold under worse situations. All right, so she better deposit in the term deposits to earn a little bit interest rate, in the interest. Okay, next one, the owner, Miss Lee, withdrew means drawing, right? $4,000 cash from the bank to pay for his private apartment management fees. Very important word, his private apartment. It should be drawings. But don't be mistaken, just write down withdraw, because withdraw may be for business purpose. Okay, maybe for business purpose. If Mr. Lee withdrew cash for business purpose, it should not involve this drawings account. Remember it. Okay, so even though we have management fees, we should not make use of the management fees account, because the management fees account belong to the business. Okay, while the management fees are those paid by Mr. Lee. So the answer should be either C or D. Okay, of course, we do not have management fees, but the business bank account was reduced. All right, so the answer is C. Okay, this part, accounting principle about case. Very simple. This is entity concept because we have drawings account.